All right, let's do a couple more examples of journal entries here. So it's the end of the day, it's a close on a Friday. Market just closed about a half hour ago, 40 minutes ago. And I had a couple of journal entries earlier from some new positions. And so let's run through this Kaiser aluminum. This aluminum play is just an attempt to get away from tech. Seems to be working for now. And you know, I saw this volume yesterday. It was just breaking above its day's high yesterday. So I bought here. If I go to the 30-minute chart, you can see it where I actually bought it. So 181.11. And earlier today when I posted this journal entry after the morning run, it was looking pretty good. Let me walk you through a new entry, what I consider a follow-up entry. Here's my ticker, and I've got my main trading account. I'm just going to put my discipline grade, just make it a 3, kind of a neutral number. Make a note for myself. So before I do that, let me walk you through the charts that I. Okay, so let me search for those. Exit. So I've got a 30-minute exit and a daily exit. So I'll capture both of those. All right, so I've got both of those in there, and let me show you what happened here at the end of the day. It came back in to even. So I took off the position to not hold over the weekend. It ended up rallying into the close. All right, so something simple like that. I won't bore you with too much, but it's something to learn from. But you've also got these tags that, in this case, this was an exit, early exit, follow-up tag, because I do a lot of searches for when I want to see what I did after a previous post. All right, so I'll save that. You can kind of see how my mind works going through these. Let me get rid of this, get this out of the way. All right, so now I've got these two charts loaded with my tags, and I can search for these tags also. If I run a filter, I can look for, let's just do like, if I want to see all my exits, I can see all the posts that I have with exits in here. If I want to see all my entries, I can look at those tags. You kind of get the understanding of what I'm trying to do. So if I want to see follow-ups to trades, that works. I'll do any tag, but you can also look by ticker. So I'd be able to see, okay, I've got all my Kaiser entries here, so all from today. And then you have full control over these tags. You can customize them however you want. I'll show you that. These are setup tags, so you don't want to necessarily, you can change those too, but that's a different subject. What we're talking about are down here, your journal tags. And so you can customize these, you can color code them however you like. I like to put my setups in blue. It's just easier to identify when I'm going through them to find, oh, okay, that's a setup, that's a setup. So I can put those setup tags in my journal entries if I wanted to search and see all my charts for those journal entries, if that makes sense. So going back to this one, let's go ahead and let me show you what I was talking about here. So on a 30-minute chart, but you can see it jumped out this morning. I'd bought it here right at that where that white line is, 181.11. It came out and then of course rolled over, just trickling volume today. Looked good this morning, but it still wasn't huge volume by any means. But it's the yesterday's closing volume that really kind of got me interested in this. But as it came back in, I thought, oh man, I don't want this thing to go negative on me. over the weekend, and I just didn't want to hold the extra risk. So I went ahead and closed it out right at even. I'm sure many of you noticed and saw the last 10 minutes of the day. A lot of volume was moving between, I saw, for example, they were taken from Google and putting them into a lot of these smaller names. Whatever the rebalancing was today certainly took effect right at the last 10 minutes of the day. But this shot out real nice strong volume. Again, rebalancing, but this Kaiser trade, of course, I wish I ended up holding it, but who knows, right? You never know how next week's going to play out. Maybe I'll revisit it next week. And then on the daily, again, this volume's ticking up from Kaiser 2 days in a row. Nice above average volume. After this long sideways action, bouncing off the 50, that looked pretty good to me. So in any event, that's that trade. Let's do one more. Let's look my follow-up on ATAI. I've got a lot of posts on this ticker. It's one of my favorites. I really like the idea of what they're trying to do. They're helping out a lot of veterans. But I could probably, I'll go ahead and give myself a better discipline grade. Established all my stops before, had a plan going into it, and as it was doing what I hoped and expected, then I took action. I executed. So let's see. We've got a follow-up here and a follow-up here, and I'll get those posted. Of course, we've got I'll just put follow-up. I don't want to drag this out any longer than I have to, so that we can see what the end of the day looks like. Let's see. So I'll just post it as a follow-up because I still am holding all my full position. So, all right, that's good for now. So we'll save that and then we can take a look. So, we talked about this in the earlier video. I don't know why it didn't, for some reason, Thinkorswim didn't have my previous trades. Again, this is a 30-minute chart, and I had trades in here, and if you guys use Thinkorswim, sometimes it can be finicky and just didn't show my previous trades here, but they are here. And if you saw another previous video on ATAI, I talk about how the previous couple of days I bought, I thought it was going to go, and then towards the end of the day it comes back in. I didn't want to hold it overnight because it is a biotech, and biotechs are strong right now, but didn't want to hold the risk overnight. And then bought it again in here, and again closed it out at the end of this day, but saw that it jumped out yesterday. We covered it earlier, but added to the position here, bought here, bought here, added again here, was looking really good, bounced way out and pulled back in yesterday, but still nicely held above where I bought it. So I held the risk overnight. And again, if you guys didn't hear the news, they're being added to the Russell 2000. So it got a nice jump, and they've got a good pipeline of psilocybin type drug, I should say psychedelic type drugs coming through all their trials. So it got through that line. Let me see. Close this out, go back over here. I had talked about it again. Sorry if you guys saw the previous video, but I just want to make sure I cover it. Through that downtrend line on this daily chart, right around in here, I added to it today. So again, the purpose of these follow-up journal entries for me is that I want to see, it's one thing to post the entries and where things were at that time, but I also want to see, okay, where did it close, especially on a Friday? I want to see how it played out. And I'll tell you, my thought process was, I'd like to see this thing close over $5. I'm really liking what we're seeing here, this nice heavy volume. I'm hoping that we're starting to see some, it's only a $5 stock at this point, but I'm hoping we're seeing some institutional interest. Really closed close to its highs, held above that $5 like I wanted to see. just a really good day for ATAI. So hopefully more good things to come. I said it earlier, previous video, but the analysts are saying $12 to $15 on this one. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to really walk you through, again, more of how you can journal your trades. And all right, if you'd like to sign up for the EdgeShield platform, you can go to edgeshield.app, app, and sign up there. There's a free 30-day trial, and it's only $4.99 a month after that. So it's more than just a journal, of course. You can see the other videos where I go through all the different components and how to track your trades. All right, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next one.